drug dealers, ice flows, and heavy bombers are just some of the new releases this week to grace our simulation world. Hi there folks, my name is NovaWrap24 and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for your simulation release news and goings on from the week that was. So we are back once again this week to give you a wrap-up of all things new released for the simulation world, no matter what your choice of simulator, and let's jump into it this week with a somewhat interesting choice of scenery from developer Parallel 42 with the release of Coyote Estate. So this is an interesting one. So this is it's an airstrip located on a private property in Red Bluff, California, I'm totally just reading their description here. So located just off the Sacramento River in Red Bluff, California, discover the legendary Coyote Estate, rumored to belong to a very private local entrepreneur and upstanding citizen. It offers colonial elegance, tropical allure, and exclusive amenities. This is really interesting, this one. It looks like, basically, I feel that this is a poke at some alleged drug cartels. But it is a really interesting choice of scenery here, and it gives a bit of it very much ties into a lot of their other products. So not only do you get a fantastically modeled scenery, as we are very much used to from the team over at Parallel 42, it is very much designed to encapsulate and link together a lot of their products, such as their campout utility, their Sky Park utility, obviously tying in with the name, Coyote being one of the companies that you can do jobs for in Sky Park, along with things like, for example, providing access to a variety of different terrain that you can drive around in with your Parallel 42 Juice Goose. So this is absolutely fascinating here, based off a real-world location. Includes a helipad, includes a variety of micro sceneries, including the Coyote Pond recreational area, a river loading dock, a custom treehouse, and a bonus sandbar landing area. It is looking absolutely spectacular, very, very fun, and something very different for you to spend your time, no matter how you choose to simulate in Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is going to be a really interesting add-on for you to grab. And like all of their micro sceneries, they're designed to have a very small footprint, with a complete sort of scenarios, scenery, and a story that you can, use the story that's there or write your own story. So it is a fantastic little scenery from an amazing developer, available directly from Parallel 42 for $12 or your original equivalent, available now. Continuing on with other Microsoft Flight Simulator releases this week, moving on to the frantic palm tree mafia. So this week from developer HR Simyard, the release of LOJC Heliport C4 Kitzbühel. So this is a small little heliport in one of the skiing hotspots in Austria, and is a rescue helicopter base managed by OAMTC Flugtring. I really should be able to pronounce that better because I can give the time I spent in Germany. Anyway, so it is a one-to-one representation of a real-life rescue base with a variety of animations and day-night cycle features, as well as a start location, as well as a landable helipad trailer, as well as the normal helipad. So this is a small little scenery available for all you frantic palm tree fans, available for $12 or your original equivalent, available now from Sim Markets. Continuing on with Microsoft Flight Simulator releases now, and moving on to something a little bit larger. So developer Project Max released their latest airport with their rendition of Sultan Hasanuddin International Airport. So this is the main international airport in Makassar in South Sulawesi. Located 20 kilometers from the main city center. It is essentially this is a redo of the scenery that they previously had released for Prepared, and they have given it a bit of TLC, but overall it is very much a port over from their previous release. So if you're wanting to explore this part of the world with your for your international flying pleasure, you can pick this one up for $8 or your original equivalent, available now on SIM market. Moving now into Europe for European airports, developer SimNord released two new airports this week. So the first being the Danish airport of Aarhus, which is a highly detailed rendition of the airport located on the east coast of Jutland. And it is a interesting airport with an interesting history. So it actually opened as was used by the Luftwaffe as a night fighter base during the Second World War. Post-war, it would go on to be a dual-use military and civilian airport and still maintains a detachment of the Danish Air Force presently. Otherwise, it is serviced by a number of regular passenger services for usually from the smaller, more budget-orientated airlines into a popular tourist destination. Now, there was not a lot of information from the developer about what the sort of scenery contains, but having a look at the screenshots that have been provided, it looks pretty solid, if I'm honest. It looks not too bad. Fairly detailed ground poly, good detail on all the buildings. So it looks like, I'm assuming all airport buildings are modelled. And it also includes the hardened aircraft shelters for the Danish military detachment present on the base. If you wanted to add this one to your collection, you can pick this one up for $15 or your original equivalent, available now on Sim Market. On to the other airport release from SimNord. So this week, the release of Bornholm Airport, which is again a highly detailed rendition of another Danish airport, this time on the Baltic Sea island of Bornholm. So this is, again, didn't provide a lot of information from the developer, but is a dual-use civilian and military airport with a Danish Air Force detachment present. Again, from looking at the imagery that's been supplied, looks pretty solid. The airport buildings and the textures look solid, look good. Ground poly looks good, and the details that are included looks pretty solid. So I'm guessing it looks like, from what I can tell, you can't really go wrong for this one. And same as before, if you wanted to add this one to your collection, you can pick this one up for $15 or your original equivalent, available now on Sim Markets. Moving now from Europe over the pond to the United States, so the team over at Real World Scenery released their rendition of Dayton, Ohio for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Again, not a lot of information coming from the developer here, but I have to say, from looking at screenshots, it looks really good. So if this is a airport that you're wanting to grab, it's probably going to be one that you want to grab, especially if you are into flying into the Dayton, Ohio area. From what I can tell from the screenshots, it looks like really good solid ground poly, good quality textures have been used throughout, good seamless blending into the surrounding photo reel. Airport buildings look pretty solid. Some of them textures look a little bit off, but they seem to be further away from the airport, from the main areas where you will be finding yourself on the apron. It is designed to work in conjunction with the local Microsoft Flight Simulator photogrammetry if you do have it on, or it is just as fine working with it off. One of the interesting things that they do highlight for this one is that it does have a custom design hangar for starting flight for small to mid aircraft. So if you are doing your if you're doing GA operations out of Dayton, Ohio, instead of doing your tube liner ops, then they highly recommend starting at parking 2. So I'm not 100% sure. I'm guessing that's probably inside a hangar on the GA side of the apron, but nice of them to think of us non-tube liner pilots. That is, I do appreciate that. I really do. If you want to add this one to your collection, you can pick this one up for $16 or your original equivalent, available now on Sim Markets. Moving south of the border now, so the team over at Dream Flight Studios this week released their rendition of Oaxaca International Airport in Mexico. So this is a high mountainous airport in Mexico, and is a joint operations base between civilian and military facilities. It has a variety of military facilities supporting the Mexican Defense Forces, and has a very large airport, and with a high number of passengers due to its popularity as a tourist destination. Includes all airport buildings modelled and given high detail textures throughout, custom ground polys, custom lighting used throughout, along with modelling of various interiors of some terminal buildings, as well as the outside the airport perimeter includes a detailed recreation of the archaeological site of Monte Alban, just as it is in real life. Again, looking over the screenshots that have been provided, I have to say this one looks pretty solid. Good quality textures used for the ground polys. Most of the airport buildings look really solid. Really quite impressed with the outside walkways, because this airport doesn't have jetways. You deplane, you go walk onto the tarmac and then walk through a cordoned off area to get to the terminal. And they've actually taken the time to actually put some detail into that walkway, which is something that I don't see very often, and honestly, I am fairly impressed that the developer actually did that. So yeah, I'm not normally a tube liner pilot, but that does impress me. So good job, Dreamfly, good job. If you want to pick this one up and add this one to your collection, you pick this one up for $15 or your original equivalent, available now on Sim Markets. Continuing on with South American destinations now. So the team over at Vuelo Simple this week released their rendition of Jujuy International Airport in Argentina. So this is a airport that serves the city of San Salvador de Jujuy. I'm sure I'm butchering that pronunciation. Anyway, and it is the northernmost Argentinian airport serviced by regular passenger services. It is a tourist destination, as well as providing a gateway from Argentina into Bolivia. Includes all the airport details, all airport buildings modelled, including a high detailed rendition of the new main terminal, complete with interior details. Includes the nearby fuel plant, and correct up apron and position markings for all these services. Overall, looking at the video and the screenshots that have been released, again, it looks pretty solid, this one. And I have to say that it's interesting, especially doing a news video like this. You see a real wide variety of quality through screenshots and things that are captured. And I've got to say, this week for the Microsoft Flight Simulator releases, I'm relatively impressed, and this one is very much part of that one. So if you want to add this one to your South American destination chart, you can add this one for $11 or your original equivalent, available now on Sim Market. Moving to somewhere very, very different and a lot colder now. It's the team over at Aerosoft this week released their latest in their Antarctica series with the release of Volume 2, Australian, Casey and Skiways. So this is the second volume of their Antarctic series, including a large area of coastal landscape with custom animated animal models, including penguin colonies, as well as the very detailed rendition of the Australian Casey Antarctic base. Includes a number of details as well as the airstrip, including a helipad, so the frantic palm tree pilots, you'll have something to use, as well as the main international airport, your international runway is there, as well as a local continental operations for smaller aircraft have also been included. So you're getting 2 aerodromes, plus you're getting a couple of helipads. You get a variety of inclusions of details, as I said before, with penguin colonies, custom fleet of animated and static vehicles, and custom clutter, as well as upgrades to the local scenery, terrain mesh, and updated water bodies. And if you want to pick this one up, you can pick this one up for a very cold destination for $15 or your original equivalent, available now from Aerosoft. Finally, moving back to somewhat warmer weather, the team over at Fly Too High Simulations released their rendition of Lubbock Preston Smith Airport in Texas. So this airport is named after the former Texas governor, Preston E. Smith, and is the eighth busiest airport in Texas. And not only does it provide regular passenger services, but it's a main hub for FedEx and a UPS for deliveries into Southern Plains part of Texas. Includes custom rendition with all airport details, all airport buildings modelled of the airport as it appears in 2023. With custom ground textures, ground polys, all the usual fun stuff. Looking over the textures here and the design of it, it looks really, really good. Like, I'm fairly impressed with the quality of the ground poly. The buildings, though, I wasn't quite so impressed with. I still, a lot of the GA and sort of smaller operations buildings look really good. But ironically, the terminal building was the one that actually sort of stuck out to me as being the one that seemed to have the least amount of seem to stick out as a bit oddity. Maybe it's just me because I'm not used to seeing them. I'm not sure, but that one definitely seemed to stick out a bit. But the rendition of the entrance to the main tower and various features of that recreations of that scenery did look pretty good. So if you're looking for a more commercial destination to fly to in the United States, you can pick this one up for $15 or your original equivalent, available now from AnyBills. Moving out of the world of Microsoft Flight Simulator now, moving into the world of X-Plane. So the team over at Delta Wing Simulations this week released their rendition of the Leonardo M346AJT, or Advanced Jet Trainer. So for those who fly Microsoft Flight Simulator, you would possibly be very familiar with the M346 coming to us from the team over at India Fox Techo. But this is a rendition by the Delta Wing Simulations for X-Plane 12. Comes with a highly detailed model of the airport of the aircraft, both internally and externally, with custom avionics systems and custom electronics, environmental and autopilot and fly-by-wire system designed purely for this aircraft. High resolution textures used throughout, with custom flight model modeled off the real aircraft. It is a really visually, it looks pretty damn good. And it is officially licensed by Leonardo as well, so I would expect that they would be delivering a fairly good rendition of this aircraft for our community. And if you want to add this one to your X-Plane collection, you pick this one up for $40 or your original equivalent, available now from xplane.org. And then seeing the second release for the X-Plane world this week from developer Dark Blue Simulations. So this week they released their edition of Kansai International Airport in Japan. So this airport is really interesting because it is the world's first fully reclaimed artificial island airport. It began construction in 1987 and officially opened to traffic in 1994. This gives a highly detailed rendition of the airport as it appears in 2023, with not only the airport itself modeled, but the custom island is also modeled in all detail, with all main buildings throughout the island, as well as not just the airport, but the island around it, all restored and represented in the sim. Includes custom ground markings, custom lights, custom textures used throughout. Overall, looking within the airport perimeter, it definitely looks pretty good. The use of the terrain, use of the photoreal imagery merging together looks pretty good. On the edge of the airport perimeter, it sort of starts to some of the textures start to fade away. But again, it's nice to see details like including the gate signs as you drive into the airport. So a lot of nice little detail here coming in, especially for the price coming in at $17 or your original equivalent, available now on xplane.org. Moving out of the world of flight simulation now, moving into the world of the permanent way, the team over at Dovetail Games released this week the latest pack for Train Sim World 4, with a release of the Edinburgh Glasgow Engineering Express pack. So this pack here recreates a number of scenarios, as well as rolling stock for the Edinburgh region, by providing us a detailed rendition of the British Rail Class 66 diesel locomotive in 2 new liveries. Includes the emergency adapter coupler to be able to drag Class 385 EMUs, as well as a number of other rolling stocks. Also includes highly detailed feature-rich driving cabs with true-to-life performance and handling, with 5 scenarios and additional timetable for the Edinburgh to Glasgow route. Includes an additional journey mode chapter, also for the Edinburgh-Glasgow route, as well as full compatibility with Delivery Designer and Scenario Planner. And if you wanted to pick this one up and add this one to your collection, you pick this one up for $15 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And is it just me, or has Train Sim World content gotten cheaper? I'm not sure. I have to go back and check. Anyway, moving on. All right, moving on into another release for the Train Simulator world this time for Train Simulator Classic. So this time saw the release from the team over Virtual Railroads, the release of their ZCS VTG Wagon Pack. So it gives you some additional rolling stock with the authentic ZCS tank wagon in VTG livery with a number of color variants. So more for you, probably for scenery designers or for scenario designers and those who wanted to make the most of those scenarios. You can pick this one up for $5 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And finally, rounding out the NovaWrap for this week, we saw a return from the team over at Microprose. Well, I'm not sure if they were. It is a return of sorts. So from the team over at Microprose Software, we saw the release of B-17 Flying Fortress, the Mighty 8th Redux. So for those old gamers like myself, you might be going, hang on a minute, what wasn't that a title that we played when we were kids? You would be absolutely correct. It was. The original title, B-17 Flying Fortress, has been out for many a year, but this is a Redux version which is designed to make it work better on modern systems by making it fully compatible with some new support and new functionality in DX12. Now, I want to stress here that this is an early access release here. So right now, as it stands, it is essentially the original B-17 Flying Fortress. It really doesn't have a lot of changes in there at the moment, other than a couple of the most obvious one is that the aspect ratio has now changed from the old 4:3 square monitor to now fully support 16:9. It's included some updated menus, updated airfield interiors, some new music, and some new crew models. Now, there are a lot more updates planned as part of this early access. They're planning for it to be in early access for 6 to 12 months. And the biggest announcement that I saw, the one that I'm probably the most excited about, because I said I remember playing this when I was a kid, is that they are actually finally doing updated models. So we will see new updated exteriors, interiors of not only for the B-17, but also for other AI aircraft in there as well. Not only will we be seeing some improved graphics, we'll also be seeing new missions, new standalone missions, new campaign missions, new training missions, and new tutorials, which I remember was very much a brutal thing about when I played it back when I was a kid. So there's a list of variety of improvements that are coming in, as well as some they're alluding to and haven't formally announced yet. But if you are wanting to step in and be part of the development and help contribute and maybe give your thoughts about how to grow the Mighty 8 Redux and to help inform Micropose with other future B-17 family titles that they were looking at creating into the future, definitely think about picking this one up, because it looks pretty damn good. Now, if you want to pick this one up, you can pick this one up for $15 US or your regional equivalent, available now on Steam. And with that, folks, that does now round out the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me on all the things I'm up to between videos by following me on Facebook and on Twitter and on Twitch. Just search NovaWing24. All right, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.